Hi, Michael Balesta here with you. Hope you are having a good Christmas season with people close to you. Time to check out what is going on with the Cleveland Browns and Cavaliers thanks to the Browns, NFL, NBA apps and websites. The Cleveland Browns were presented an opportunity to see if they could extend their playoff hopes going into Week 17. They received help from the New York Jets, New Orleans Saints, and Indianapolis Colts in other action, which meant that if the Browns won on Sunday, they would not be eliminated. The question was, could Cleveland find a way to slow down the Baltimore Ravens offense as they did in Week 4? For a while, the game plan was working. On the game's first drive, the Browns offense changed field position. From the 25 following the touchback, Baker Mayfield hooked up with Jarvis Landry for a 9-yard gain. After a J.C. Treader holding penalty threatened to kill the drive on the next play, Mayfield found Stephen Carlson to make it a third down and manageable situation. Landry's name was called upon, and the team needed 4, and he picked up a dozen. After Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt toted the rock, Mayfield could not connect with Ricky Seals-Jones on 3rd and 5. Punter Jamie Gillan did his job to put Baltimore deep in their territory, their own territory at the 14. It took only one play for the Ravens to flip the field. Mark Ingram II went to the right side for a 27-yard gain. After he picked up another 4, Lamar Jackson threw to Gus Edwards to move the ball into Cleveland territory. After Sheldon Richardson held Edwards to 3 on the very next play, Jackson threw 3 straight incompletions, and the Browns took over on downs at their own 41 midway through the first quarter. On Cleveland's second possession, Mayfield went to Odell Beckham Jr. for a 22-yard pickup. Although he got the first down, he was flagged for taunting. The drive stalled after 2 Chubb carries and an incompletion by Baker to Damian Ratley. They did not take advantage of the mistake. The silver lining was that once again, Gillan forced a long field. This time Baltimore was at their own 11. Jackson ran for 2 first downs, while Edwards did likewise, but there was good news for the defense on the 7th play of the series. Lamar lost the ball, and Porter Gustin came away with the takeaway at the Baltimore 45-yard line. Cleveland showed some maturity by capitalizing on this Christmas gift. KhaDarel Hodge was on the receiving end of Mayfield's next pass. Chubb gained 2 on 2nd and 4. 2 plays later, he was intercepted, but a defensive holding on Marcus Peters placed the ball at the 32. Landry lost yardage on the next play. Then on the opening play of the second quarter, Baker ran for 5 to make it 3rd and long. Hunt received the ball and came up 1 yard short. Matt Judon jumped for the Ravens on 4th down, creating a fresh set of downs for the home side. Jarvis picked up 7, but Judon and Michael Pierce were ready for Nick Chubb in the backfield on 2nd down. Jimmy Smith committed pass interference on Beckham in the end zone. Baltimore challenged the play and lost it, which meant that they were out of timeouts in the first half with 11:58 before the interval, which was important later given how the end of the half fared. After the ball rested on the 1 following the penalty, Demetrius Harris made a great diving catch for the first points of the game. Austin Seibert pulled the extra point wide left, and it was 6-0 Browns. The next Ravens drive started inside their 10 after being penalized on the return. Jackson got a gain of 8, but after Ingram moved the sticks, the defense forced an offensive holding penalty, and T.J. Carey's tackle of Mark Andrews short of first down yardage meant 4th down. Greg Robinson picked up an offensive holding penalty and a false start, so that stalled the drive, and the punt meant that Baltimore got to start at their own 35. Jackson found Nick Boyle for 16 yards. Brian Cox was in coverage as Lamar Jackson could not find Andrews. Chad Thomas held Lamar to 4 on 2nd down. Then an incomplete pass meant that the Browns got the football back, but at their own 3-yard line. On 3rd and 6, Mayfield found his target Landry for a dozen yards. Chubb and Dontrell Hilliard helped move the clock to set up 3rd and 1. Now the ball was snapped at 2:09, meaning if Cleveland, with a 6-0 lead, could move the chains, they could leave no time for the Ravens if they played the clock right after having their way for nearly 28 minutes. But the play went to the right side as Kareem Hunt took the lateral and Baltimore snuffed it out. Jalen Ferguson and Earl Thomas III made the tackle in the backfield. It was the last play before the 2-minute warning, and really the game changed there. After the punt, the Ravens needed 2 plays to get going. Jackson sought out Ingram for 24 yards to the Cleveland 39. Jackson then hit Andrews for a 39-yard touchdown. Justin Tucker converted the extra point to give Baltimore a 7-6 advantage with 1:18 left in the second quarter. The Browns fundamentally were not sound, throwing 3 straight incomplete passes with Baltimore not having any timeouts left. Because of those incompletions, the Ravens got the ball back with 55 ticks left, so only 23 seconds came off the clock. Baltimore used the clock wisely, and Andrews caught another 24-yard pass from Lamar. After an incompletion, it was second down just past midfield. Justice Hill and Seth Roberts both caught passes of 14 and 12 respectively and stopped the clock by going out of bounds. After an incompletion, Roberts caught another pass to the sidelines for 11 down at the 14. Jackson found Andrews for a touchdown inside the final 15 seconds, and it was 14-6. Mayfield took a knee after the kick return, and the half was over. The Ravens picked up in the second half where they left off. Lamar Jackson ran for 15 yards on 3rd and 10 from the Baltimore 31. He then hit Andrews on a 3rd and 5. Later on the possession, Jackson recovered his own fumble for a 5-yard loss and rushed for 18 to the Cleveland 29. He converted a 3rd and 3. And then 2 plays later, Lamar found Ingram for a 12-yard touchdown, capping off a drive that took almost half of the third quarter. The Browns had a good drive responding with 3 straight carries by the University of Georgia's Nick Chubb. They went for 7, 12, and 11 following the touchback, did Chubb. And then Mayfield threw he threw a completion to Odell before not doing the same with Demetrius Harris as the ball fell incomplete. Hunt received the ball to move the sticks on 3rd and 6. Then Jimmy Smith got an illegal contact penalty, which moved the ball to the 29. Baker threw a pick on 2nd and 10, but replay reversed the call to an incompletion. After another misfire, Seibert came out for a 47-yard attempt, which was true with under 3.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Baltimore went on another methodical drive. Hill caught a 9-yard pass on 3rd and medium from their own 30. A few plays after that, on the final play of the quarter, Mark Ingram II took the ball down to the Browns' 26 for 15. After Richardson was offside on the ensuing play, Jackson went to Hill for another 9 yards. Sione Takitaki and Justin Burris tackled Gus Edwards for a 1-yard loss on 2nd and goal. After Andrews' offensive pass interference infraction on the next play from scrimmage, Tucker made a field goal, making the score 24-9 and 4 straight possessions that ended in scores for the away team. Cleveland showed signs of life offensively on the last series, and they stayed on track as they took over with just over 11.5 minutes remaining. On 2nd and 10 from their own 25, Baker Mayfield targeted Odell Beckham Jr. for a 15-yard completion. Jarvis Landry then hauled in a 33-yard catch. After Chubb gained 3, it was time for Ricky Seals-Jones over the middle to get another big play to the 1. Mayfield tried Ratley through the air to no avail. Chubb was stopped for losses on consecutive plays. Smith was called for a face mask on 4th and goal after Earl Thomas sacked the quarterback. With the ball at the 3, Beckham came up with the goods, grabbing a 3-yard touchdown. There seems to be a big debate about going for 2 after scoring a touchdown, bringing the deficit to 9, particularly in the 4th when a team is trailing and there are not too many possessions remaining. Some believe that going for 2 gets the hard part out of the way to get the game back to within 7. Personally, I like the chance of staying alive by kicking the extra point to stay within 1 score because usually the kick is a given. Because in the event the two-point attempt is not converted, it is still a 2-possession game, and really you're up the creek without a paddle. Better to have hope than not to have hope at all is kind of how I see it. Kind of extend the game, just like you see with basketball when teams are down 3. Sometimes the lane is open and you go for the quick 2, and you put the pressure on the team that's ahead to see if they can keep making free throws. That's kind of the philosophy I like. I like the conservative route, but there are people in the analytics department that say otherwise, and I respect them. But I just think you try to stay in the game as long as you can. But we can agree to disagree if you if you don't agree with what I say. All right, so so this made it a 24-15 game, and the Browns did go for two, and Ricky Seals-Jones, well, he simply dropped the ball, and it would have made it 24-17 instead. An incompletion kept the score at 9, and really, even in this debate about whether to go for two or not, and when you're within 9, the defense still has to do their part, and in order to give the offense the ball back to try to make a comeback. And unfortunately, Cleveland did not do so. I mean, Baltimore scored for a 5th time as Gus Edwards and Lamar Jackson stayed in bounds. They burned the clock. The two combined for the first 4 plays on the ground, and they netted 2 first downs. And then Justice Hill, Jackson, and Edwards carried the ball on the next 3 plays. On the last of those, Sheldon Redwine got hurt, and Richardson got an unsportsmanlike penalty. The play wound up going for 25 yards in total. Hill then ran for the remaining 18 yards, and Tucker made it 31-15 with under 4 minutes left. Cleveland's faint hopes were snuffed out after Hunt gained a dozen on 2nd and 5 on the play after that, as Marlon Humphrey picked off Baker Mayfield with 2:47 left. Edwards ran 3 straight times, then Jackson likewise. Both picked up first downs, and they went into victory formation. So the Browns were eliminated from playoff contention while the Ravens clinched the number 1 seed in the conference. The final score was Baltimore 31, Cleveland 15. The final week of the regular season traditionally involves games within the division, and all 16 games are played on Sunday. 13-2 Baltimore hosts 8-7 Pittsburgh at 3:25 p.m. The Ravens have home field advantage in the AFC and will be in action during the second week of January. The Steelers are still in the playoff mix, and they will need help. Seeds 2 through 6 are 12-3 New England, 11-4 Kansas City, 10-5 Houston, 10-5 Buffalo, and 8-7 Tennessee. Oakland at 7-8, along with Pittsburgh, enter play, hoping things break their way. As things stand in the NFC, San Francisco, Green Bay, and New Orleans are each 12-3, and in that order, seeds 1 through 3. They are followed by 8-7 Philadelphia, 11-4 Seattle, and 10-5 Minnesota. Now, Dallas is 7-8 and on the outside looking in. Meanwhile, the 6-9 Browns and 1-14 Bengals try to get a jump on 2020 in Cincinnati at noon. Red Rock Bar and Grill on the southeast corner of Midway and Frankfort is where you can watch if you are in the Dallas area with the North Texas Browns backers. And just want to say thank you very much for your support all season long. Hope to see you there this Sunday, and thank you for coming. The Cavaliers entered Friday coming off their narrow win against the Charlotte Hornets, seeking their second straight win at the hands of the Memphis Grizzlies. Cleveland trailed by as many as 8 in the first quarter, but got it down to 2 after 12 minutes. They then took the lead in the second stanza and led by 8 themselves before taking a 4-point lead into the dressing room. After the Grizzlies outscored the Cavs by 10 in the third quarter, Memphis ballooned the lead to a dozen with 10:28 to play. That's when Jordan Clarkson scored the next 5 points. Larry Nance Jr. dunked the ball in the next possession. After John Henson made a free throw and Darius Garland made 2 from the charity stripe, it was a 2-point game with just under 8 minutes left. The Grizzlies responded with a 12-5 run as Solomon Hill had 5 points during that period. Colin Sexton made a jump shot to make it 103-98. 3 Cleveland possessions later, Clarkson scored his 32nd and 33rd points on a jumper. With 4 minutes left, Tristan Thompson followed up a Sexton miss, which forced a Memphis timeout. Kevin Love was fouled by the rookie Ja Morant. Love split the free throws to tie the game. He then drilled a 3-pointer, which gave the Cavaliers their first lead since 78-76. Jaren Jackson Jr. received an alley-oop from Jay Crowder with under 2 minutes left. Morant banked in a shot next trip down the floor to put the Grizzlies up 1. Love responded with another 3, which gave the home team the lead for good. After Morant turned the ball over, Colin Sexton made 1 of 2 foul shots after being fouled by Crowder with 54.5 seconds remaining. Jackson missed a game-tying three. After Love rebounded, Jordan Clarkson missed an attempt from deep. Sexton picked up the rebound and was fouled by Morant with 12 seconds on the clock. Collin made both, and then Crowder's three was no good, and Clarkson got the board. Darius Garland went to the line and made the final two of his 14 points, and Cleveland were 114-107 winners. Clarkson finished with 33 after a 12 for 17 performance. Kevin Love recorded 21 points and 13 rebounds. Tristan Thompson finished with 10 points and 15 boards. Zeddy Osman scored a baker's dozen. Jaren Jackson Jr. led the Grizzlies with 24. Jonas Valanciunas had 14 points and 14 rebounds. Dylan Brooks and Jay Crowder combined for 30 points. The Cleveland offense erupted for 42 points in the opening quarter against the visiting Atlanta Hawks Monday. The Cavaliers led for much of the game before trailing much of the third, but were tied entering the fourth at 94. Seconds into the frame, Kevin Porter Jr. hit a triple which put the home side up for good. Darius Garland later hit one from outside to make it 100-96. After Porter made a couple of buckets, Garland's layup increased the lead to 10. The lead was as large as 14 after Zeddy Osman's bank shot with 3:20 left. And at 119-108, long ball shots by Trae Young and Kevin Huerter cut Atlanta's lead to deficit to 5. After DeAndre Hunter made one of two free throws with 1:20 remaining, Garland drove in for a layup with 60 seconds left. Young made a three on the other end, and the Cavs had to sweat out two missed Young game-tying attempts inside the final 35 seconds to get a 121-118 victory. Collin Sexton led the way with a quarter century, having gone 12 of 20 from the floor. Garland scored 21, Love poured in 20, Osman and Kevin Porter scored in the teens. Tristan Thompson and Porter combined for 19 boards. As for the Hawks, Trae Young, John Collins, and DeAndre Hunter were responsible for 80 of their team's points. Up next for the Cleveland Cavaliers will be a game Friday in Boston at 3 p.m. Central on NBA TV. The road trip continues Saturday at 7 in Minneapolis and then at 6 Monday in Toronto to close 2019. Those times are in Central Time. Please check out the Facebook group North Texas Browns Backers page and hit the like button for the latest updates there. The text of this blog is available at http://www.mjbalesta2, as in the number 2, .wordpress.com. So http://www.mjbalesta2.wordpress.com. I am on Twitter at mjbalesta2, on Facebook at Michael Balesta, and on Instagram at mjbalesta2. Archive videos on YouTube can be found by searching Michael Balesta Roman numeral 2. If you could, I would love your feedback in the comments section. And if you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Thank you so much. May you have a great week, and thank you for watching. God bless you, and may you have a happy new year.